All right, folks, how about now? Okay, good. You do an AV check 15 minutes before you go on the air, and then when you go on the air, it doesn't work. I love it. That's the story of my life. But let's go ahead and get airborne, guys. Everybody can hear me loud and clear. That's awesome. We have like nearly 500. Last time I checked, 600 traders registered for this, and this was a pop-up webinar I wanted to do today, which is a hell of a lot of people. So thank you. Yep, welcome aboard. I have a lot to talk about, limited amount of time. I want to get to two, well, definitely one, maybe two trades after I introduce myself. A little bit of a snowflake or trigger warning, whatever it is. We're going to be talking about politics, folks. If you don't like talking about politics or you don't like my politics, most likely you're not going to enjoy being a member here at TGO. However, the folks that don't care about my politics, as you can see on the screen here, David, I hate your politics but love the way you print money. Thanks for your service. Best money I've spent so far in my trading career. So, along with my disclaimer on the slide here for the government, I'll throw my snowflake and trigger warning up there. So go ahead and split and do me a favor if any of that stuff bothers you. Real quick, let me go ahead and some administrative items I want you to take a look at. Do me a favor. I put my the TGO Facebook page in here. When you get around to it, just head over there and click like because I put a lot of my trades on here, my commentary and stuff like that. And then if you're not on, let me put this up here. If you're not on StockTwits, make sure you are and you open an account. I put a lot of good content on there, and this used to be, everybody remember Yahoo Finance back in the day? It ended up sucking and turning into crap and penny stocks and pump and dumps. If you put anything marketing wise on StockTwits, they ban you, they grab your IP. It's a great site. So if you've never heard of StockTwits, I just changed a little bit of your trading. So make sure you head over there and follow me on StockTwits at WizCheck6. And that's my Twitter handle too, so you can follow me on Twitter. And I got nearly 6,000 followers over there. All right, enough of that crap. We got to get airborne. All right. Here we go. Let's find out. Did a webinar the other night, so I know a lot of you are new to Top Gun options. Let me get a quick temperature check and a quick azimuth check. No, Perry, if you read that email, it said go to webinar. The go to webinar platform holds up to 1,000 people, and the go to training holds 200. Since we went over 200, we moved it over to go to training. So Perry, nice job with the math. All right, folks, my name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. My parents did like me. That's not my God-given name. I earned that call sign flying the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy. For over 15 years. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know is Top Gun, and I also flew 44 combat sorties over Iraq. Real quick temperature check. How did you do trading last week? Last week was nuts, folks. We kicked off with a gap open Monday with the whole Le Pen didn't win a majority in France. Then we had the tax reform, huge tax reform on Wednesday. We had a healthcare failure. We had GDP that sucked. We had North Korea nuclear war potential. How did you do last week? Up, down, or sideways? Let me know. Chuck, all my members know where I'm going with this. We have a lot of my members in here. They even come to the free webinars. Well, here's how we did last week in an extremely volatile week. We had 3 shots, 3 kills in our weekly options program. We had 2 bear call spreads. Monday is our weekly options live trade brief at 1 o'clock, $1,800 trade by Friday. On Wednesday, before the huge tax announcement, I knew the market was going to sell off into that. The only thing that could happen in that tax announcement with Steve Mnuchin, who's a mousy guy and shouldn't be the face of the Treasury, but he is, and Khan, the only thing that could happen was details come out and the market not like it. So we sold another bear call spread on Wednesday morning that made $1,400 by Friday. And then also I threw on an Apple bear call spread on Monday that made $1,700 by Friday. This is on limited risk, folks. These aren't unlimited trades. I'm going to teach you in a couple minutes. I have what's called SOP, Standard Operating Procedures. I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade in my portfolio, and the model portfolios are based on $100,000 accounts. So do the math there for you political science Navy guys like me. It's $5,000. So each one of the, I think a couple of them were a little under. a couple might have been over. I don't remember. But that's, you know, how much is that, folks? That is, do the math real quick. That's $4,900 in profit on limited risk. That was a 45% return on risk last week. And if your head was spinning from all the events last week and where the market was going, ours wasn't. Now let me ask you a question. How you doing this week? How's everybody doing this week? Well, here's how we're doing. We have 2 trades. Our weekly options trades are up $2,100 so far. Then I'll show you. In case you didn't know, folks, men lie, numbers don't. So here's the numbers. I sent out this bear call spread on the S&P 500 on Monday at 85 cents. It's at a nickel right now. There's 80 cents times 15 contracts. You do the math. As the market went up a little more on Tuesday, I think it was, look at this one. I sent this one out, 85 cents. It's at 40. Everybody do the math. 45 times 15 equals 675 bucks, folks. So about $2,200 so far this week in weekly options profits. So, folks, if we, unless the market has a rip your face off rally tomorrow, which it won't, and I'm going to tell you why it's not going to have a rally tomorrow, we're over $6,000 in weekly options profits in 2 weeks. Okay, we're having a blast trading this market, guys. How did I go from the cockpit to the trading pit? My father, when I was raised, I was one of 6 kids, you know, lower middle class Irish Catholic family from New Jersey. I looked every day. He read the newspaper in his coat and tie before he went to work, and I'd look on the back of the paper and look at all these hieroglyphics. I'm like, "What are those, Dad?" And he said, "Well, those are stock symbols," and he explained it. And you know, if you go buy a Happy Meal, or if Mom gets you a Happy Meal at McDonald's, the stock price could go. He explained all that, and I said, "You know what? Always interested in finance, but I was raised to put service above self." Okay, so I joined the Navy. Always wanted to fly jets. Love the ocean, so I became a Navy fighter pilot. But I always was interested in finance. So when I got on active duty, I taught myself how to trade stocks, and more importantly, never looked back and traded another stock when I found out about options. So everything I'm going to teach you as a member here at Top Gun Options. You're welcome, folks. All my members are saying, hey, Jack Noble, I closed all my trades this week for a massive profit. Thanks again. You're welcome, Jack. So I applied everything that I was learning flying fighter jets, having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, debriefing a bad trade, knowing when to get out of a bad trade before it got worse, knowing when to get out of a good trade before it gets worse. And I applied that to my trading, and it worked incredibly well. As a matter of fact, it worked so well when I got off active duty, my methodologies and how I performed and everything that I did, I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms actually in the world now. You see all these big vertical windows? That's the Chicago Board of Trade. That's the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle, very famous building. And there it is right there. Peak 6 Investments. I popped up on their radar, and they brought me on board to be a heavy, and I got to be honest with you, it was an absolute blast, but I'll be lying to you if I didn't tell you I felt like Valentine in trading places. You know, poor guy going to a ginormous firm and essentially running it. It was a blast. I was the managing director of strategy for, at the time, it was about a $2.5 billion equity vol arb firm. Not content to stop at that, at the same time I was at Peak 6, I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. Some of you remember ONN TV, right? It was the CNBC for options. Again, had an absolute blast. Went from 1 user, me, to 80,000 in a year. And it was an absolute blast. But no offense, anybody from Chicago here? No offense, but okay, well, you know, I lived out in Napertucky. You guys can have the Chicago Winners. I'm a Navy guy. I need a beach. I'm sitting out here, and right behind me is the beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. No offense. I pulled chocks and came down here to Fort Lauderdale where I started Top Gun Options 7 years ago. We've been in business, and my most important job is on the screen. I'm the commanding officer of a beautiful family of kids there, and I couldn't be more proud. All right, that's enough. How long was that? Perfect. 10 minutes, and I didn't have sound for 9 of it. So we're right on timeline here because I want to get going. All right, guys. Let's get airborne. Here's the performance, you know, my marketing folks. I never want to show my performance, but then again, I know being on the other side of one of these webinars, how do you do? It's about the methodology. If you have a right methodology that I'm going to introduce to you today, the performance will come, man. Well, let's take a look at 2016. I'll show you year to date when we get to my trading screen. But look at last year. 2016 was a record year, especially for me as a trader, and I'll explain to you why. I made one of the only calls in the world about the election, and it was right. Our PLTB, our primary live trade brief, 125% return on risk. These are $100,000 model portfolios, folks. Here was our weekly options model portfolio with our urgent alerts, 106% return, and you can see our S&P 500 and JP Morgan trades just crushed it last year. And then here's my embarrassing portfolio, the accelerated retirements. It's a little less risk, 101% return. So there's my embarrassment, 100 grand. There's the performance. How do we get there? Through our methodology. You ready? On the top of the screen, you can see this slide that says Top Gun Options Methodology. There's a little camera. If you see something interesting on the screen, I'll give you a heads up that it's coming. Click that little camera so you can, I think it saves to your desktop or My Documents. It saves to your computer. You're going to want to do that. So just wanted to give you a little heads up about the technology. Here's our methodology, folks, and it ain't rocket surgery. What do I mean by that? You know, and thank God I don't have to pay a royalty to the United States Navy, because this is, it's awesome. This is perfect. We use what is called SOT, Strategic, Operational, and Tactical. The average retail trader, the 600 or so that registered for this event, you're very tactical. Not my members, though. I've changed them. What do I mean by that? You wake up today, you're like, oh, Trump might be voting on health care. It'll be great. If it goes through and the market's going to go up. I tell you the exact opposite. The market's going to sell off on this because the third time he's loosey with the football, the market is pissed, blah, blah, blah. You're very tactical. You don't know what you're doing in a week from now, let alone what you could invest in out to January of 2019. We do. We take the exact opposite approach. I will give you a strategic brief, okay? And I'm going to give you a condensed one, maybe 10 minutes at most. In my live trade briefs, we start with a strategic brief. What's going on around the globe? What's going on with North Korea now that we have 2 battle groups there and a guided missile ballistic submarine? What's going on in Europe? What's going on in Russia? What's going on around the seas, global economically, politically, militarily, all of those things, okay? Pretend you're a general or an admiral sitting there with your cigar watching your intelligence briefing. That's me. Then I peel the onion and we get operational. Okay, what do I mean by that? Now let's talk about the United States. What's going on with the futures? What did Janet say on Wednesday? What's the non-farm payroll looking like tomorrow? How are earnings looking? We get operational and go one layer down. And then, folks, and then only then can we get tactical, which means what? Then we can trade. How many of you wake up and watch CNBC, which I call Comedy Central, and listen to Jim Cramer? Folks, if you're taking stock advice from a guy who uses an air bell or an air horn and a cowbell, you deserve to lose every dollar you invested. Okay? It's funny. He's an Eagles fan. He's from Philly. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I've met Jim. We were going to buy thestreet.com when I was at Peak 6. I get the guy, but please, folks, now we can trade. And if you learn nothing from me today in our short time together, first of all, I failed, but second of all, you need to learn this. There is no such thing as an options strategy. If I show you a double vertical today, you will never again call that an options strategy. If I show you a bear call spread today, that is not a strategy, folks. Listen to me. Saving for college, short-term income generation, buying a boat in 6 months to sail off of Fort Lauderdale here, those are strategies. In Iron Condor, a double vertical, covered calls, those are tactics. Ditch your terminology. It's currently wrong if you call it an option strategy. Now, using that SOT again, here's how we trade. Strategically, I have trades all the way out to January of 2019. Apple, Facebook. Our Apple and Facebook Jan 19 trades are all up over about 10 grand in a couple months. I'll show you some of those. Long call diagonals, synthetic stock, and I put protective puts underneath them. On the operational level, we trade the front months, vertical spreads, iron condors, and also some hedges. And we'll look today at maybe a potential hedge because, folks, we're getting ready to roll over here. If Trump lost me, he's lost everybody because I called it, folks. and I've nailed everything from before we got elected to today, and I'm saying it's over with, and I'll tell you why. And then we also do tactical trading, which are the weekly options program. And I just showed you, like I said, men lie, numbers don't. I showed you the trades from last week. I showed you the trades I have on this week. I can go back. We have a, as of today, we have a 94% weekly options success rate. That's the highest in my entire career, folks. Our weekly options model portfolio has been printing money. Yes, Barry, this is all recorded, and I'll send out a replay for you as well if you got a split. At the end of the day, folks, or at the end of this presentation, if you don't agree with me that trading is a form of combat, I failed and don't join up. If you do believe that trading is a form of combat, meaning, and I can say that because I've seen it, somebody's going to win in a trade and somebody's going to get their ass kicked. What side do you want to be on? And if you want to be on the winning side, don't you want to use all the methodologies and have the mindset that it is combat, and use these methodologies that Wiz used over Iraq and running Peak 6? The answer, you don't have to type it in, is yes. So here we go. In the handouts box over on the right near the little control panel, I gave you one of our handouts. It's a trade plan. Everybody see that you can download it? Oops, no, it's not there. One second, guys. I got in the middle of something. Let me, You don't see it because I didn't put it in there. So one second, trade plan, one page. Where's all my Adobes? I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm asking if you see something. It's not in there. There it is. TGO. There it is. All right. It is, give me 3, 2, 1. Look at that, flawless. Download that when you get a second. I have 0 time to go through all of these 7 steps, folks. So click on that right now. It's a PDF. It's in there. That's my gift to you. I literally speak around the United States and the world, folks. People come up to me and say, oh, Wiz, you know, I'm a trader, you're a trader. I hear from these folks on stage, I need a trade plan, and when I ask them for one, they walk off the stage. That's because they don't have one, folks. This is the same type of trade plan or combat plan I used over the skies of Iraq and I use on Wall Street. You got to be a member, and I'm going to teach you how to use this whole thing. But I'm going to use this 7-step trade plan today when I take a look at a couple of trades, okay? But again, if I was to go through this, we'd be here for a longer time, and we just don't have that because I want to get some trades on. 7-step trade plan, all right? Download the PDF. Before we take a look at a strategic and operational brief and I show you a couple trades, let me go through a quick acronym on where we are targeting or where we're hedging or what we're doing in 2017. And if you know, when I looked at all the letters in the acronym, the best way I could come up with is not fear. Doesn't mean don't fear, it's just the way the acronym worked out. So here we go. NOTFEAR 2017. The N in not fear stands for North Korea. Folks, if you're not scared shitless about this, you're an ostrich. I've sailed through these waters. I've done the North Korean contingency planning. I know the numbers. If one artillery piece accidentally fires, there's 4 million people dead within 15 minutes, including about 40,000 service members and their families. This is incredibly bad right now. And North Korea just fired back at China today at their uncle saying, are you kidding me? You turned on us too? Now we're alone. Now we're definitely keeping our nukes. Come and get them. How does this end? If you think this ends with this guy giving up his nukes, you're crazy. If you think this ends with Trump, who I think now is a little mentally imbalanced, if you think it ends with him backing down, you're also nuts. So how does this end? Folks, this is, if something goes bump in the night, you're going to wake up the next morning and the futures are going to be down 1,000 points. Exactly, folks. So one of the benefits of being here at Top Gun Options is I still have one of my old commanding, one of my sister squadron's commanding officers. His call sign is Not So Swift, or his last name is Swift. Admiral Swift is a 4-star admiral. He's the commander-in-chief of all Pacific forces. So one of the benefits you get here at TGO is I'm still on the phone. I still email. I still text. We're a brotherhood. You get inside information, I'll leave it at that, about what's going on. This is incredible potential volatility that is not priced into the market. The T in not fear, I'll come back to the O, is this. Ladies and gentlemen, I was one of the only financial professionals, and I can name the other three on one hand. Jeffrey Gunlock at Double Line Capital was one of them. I forget the other guys. I just know Jeff Gunlock because he manages $95 billion. You know what he and I got right and everybody else got wrong? This. For months in the fall, I said, folks, when the liberals in the media, the crap media, were telling you don't even vote. It's over. She's already won. I said, folks, I'm traveling around speaking. I meet normal Americans. First of all, a normal American doesn't pick up the phone at 9 or 10 at night and talk to a pollster. That's what the unemployed or bored people do. I'd be at an event and people would come up to me afterwards and whisper, look around and whisper like, I'm voting for Trump. Like somebody was going to hit him in the head with a shovel if they admitted that. I knew the polls were wrong. I knew he was going to win, and I predicted it. Citi, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Citi, folks, the day before the election said Hillary's going to win, and if Trump wins, the market goes down 10%. I said, folks, they're wrong. Trump is going to win, and the market's going to go up 10%. Okay? Yeah, roger that, Mike. Exactly. So, folks, and we put on trades. I put trades in the model portfolio that printed money, the financials, our Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan positions. Some of my members, I traded, I think it was 5 contracts in my Goldman Sachs trade before the election, and it made it up to like 35 grand. 2 of our members, I think Diane and Mike, traded 20 contracts. They were up $135,000 in one trade on Goldman Sachs. I predicted this. I predicted the don't sell the State of the Union. And guess what, folks? Now I'm predicting it's time to fade. The O in not fear is oil. Oil's below 50, guys. And now it's starting to hit my radar that we have to care about it again. Remember last January and February, not the recent one, 2016? Remember oil going down to like 29 bucks, 26 bucks, and what the stock market did? Oil's in everything, folks. We have an oversupply, a glut, and OPEC is full of a bunch of liars, folks. I've been to just about every Arab country, and they're all liars at OPEC. They sit around that big table with the nice flowers in the middle, and they all, production cuts. Yes, I agree. They get off their airplane when they land after the meeting, and they laugh and go, you wouldn't believe what I promised we'd do. Open the spigots. Oil is getting on our radar, folks, and it's going to put in so much volatility. Harry, I made $65,000 in Goldman Sachs. There's one member with one Goldman Sachs trade out to Jan 19. Harry made 65 grand. Harry, you better be coming to our Miami event or I'm going to track you down. The F in fear is the Fed. Folks, this market shouldn't be up here, period. But I'm going to give you one of my whizzisms, so to speak. You can write these down, and when you become a member, you're going to have pages of them. You have to trade the market you have, not the market you want. Not that I want a market that's at zero, but the economy is not that great, folks. Unless you're on the other side of Mars on Friday, the GDP sucked. There was a 0 in front of the decimal point. Trump is promising a 3% GDP, sold. But the Fed dialing up interest rates, monetary policy, definitely a big thing in 2017. The other F in not fear is the financials. Goldman Sachs is the gold medal winner. JP Morgan is our silver medalist, and Morgan Stanley is the bronze. We'll talk about the financials and how to trade them when you become a member. Take a look. Well, this is an old slide here, guys, but let me leave this up here as I take a look at some of these questions. There's Mike. Mike actually made 135 grand. That's how old this slide is. Diane's over there with 36. There's Harry. Harry, this is at 10:28 a.m. This was a couple months ago. You said 60 grand, so you made an extra 5 grand on the Goldman Sachs trade. This is awesome. And these are all single trades, guys. Yeah, Harry, that's great, man. Yeah, let me get out of here. Sorry about that. The E in not fear is Europe. Before I nailed the election, folks, I nailed the Brexit. Wait, hold on, Wiz, you got it wrong. You said it was a coin flip and most likely they'd stay. Yeah, I did get it wrong, but we made 22 grand. All right, I'm about to exit this webinar. How were you wrong on the Brexit and you made 22 grand? Volatility. I thought it was a coin flip. But you know what threw me? I should have went with the they're going to leave. When Barack Obama got on a plane and flew over there like before the vote, a week, 2 weeks, and said, you know what, you guys better vote to stay because, if you leave, I don't have time to negotiate a trade deal with you. You go back of the line. The Brits are pretty proud people. Even if they liked Obama, you don't go over to the British soil and poke them in the chest. And the fact that a couple hours ago, Obama came out and endorsed Macron in France is awesome. That means Le Pen's going to win. Okay, so Le Pen's going to win. This guy who married his drama teacher, he was in 8th grade, high school or whatever it was. He married his high school teacher. If you're into that type of thing, knock yourself out. It's a little creepy to me. But Obama endorsing her, that's one of the reasons I'm telling you the market ain't going to rally tomorrow. The French vote Sunday. Le Pen is the Trump, okay? And there's going to be a lot of, not anybody I know, and I'm the chief development officer for hedge fund folks. Nobody is going into this weekend long. That's why those weekly bear call spreads are looking great. Then we have Mario Draghi. Okay, Benoit's in here. She will not win. Benoit, when Obama endorsed her today, just like when he flew over to England and said, you guys better vote to stay or you're in trouble. Benoit, I'll buy you a nice bottle of wine next time you're in Miami or Lauderdale, because I know you're over there and you're on the front lines, but I'm telling you, man, you'd be surprised. I don't care what the polls say. Benoit, let me ask you real quick. Did you believe the polls here in the United States that Clinton was running away with it double digits or not? Exactly. JW, I'll answer that towards the end, guys. The E in fear is earnings. Earnings, folks, will only get stronger, okay? Tax cuts are coming, but just like you saw with the healthcare bill today, folks, the market's sick of hearing about it, man. I'm sick of hearing from the guy. Huge announcement next week on taxes. Huge, going to be big, tremendous, great guy, huge. Nothing. It sucked last week. And the fact that he's got this Rose Garden thing and press conference and yay, it hasn't even hit the Senate, folks. The Senate has already said, okay, children, they treat the House like a bunch of children, right? We're rewriting the whole thing and starting from scratch. So good luck on that. This does not bode well for tax reform, okay? The regulatory cuts are good. Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, with the stroke of a pen, can undo a lot of Frank and Dodd, the Dodd-Frank stuff. But we still haven't, look at Apple, folks, $256 billion sitting in County Cork, Ireland. I mean, that $256 billion is like more than the GDP of Great Britain and some other country combined. I was going to say they could buy Ireland. They could buy Ireland and have enough, or somebody told me the other day when they did the math, they could buy every sports team, professional sports team from hockey to the NFL, NBA, everything in the United States to still have $50 billion left over. When can they bring that money home, folks? When can they bring it to Cupertino? They can buy back shares right now, but to buy like Walt Disney, maybe we'll take a look at a Disney trade. They might buy Disney. The cash back stuff, folks, still hasn't been baked into earnings. The A into fear is Asia. Folks, you have got to be long-term bullish on China. We have a lot of positions on China with the FXI. Write that symbol down, FXI, because I'm not going to have time. Why do you say Trump is unstable? Won't he listen to Mateus and the other generals? Barry, here's the deal with Trump. He likes to model himself in a Ronald Reagan-esque format. Reagan was smart enough to know what he didn't know, and he surrounded himself with people smarter than him. Here's the deal with Trump. Trump knows what he doesn't know. He's not smart enough to admit it, won't publicly admit it. He's surrounded himself with people smarter than him, and at the end of the day, he goes, I'm still going to make the decision. That's the difference. And to be here, let me give you some disclosure. I've had dinner with Steve Mnuchin and Khan. My sister was a partner with both those guys at Dune Capital in New York. I'm the underachiever of the family. My sister got Woman of the Year. I forget what year it was, and I think John Corzine was at the dinner. And my sister knows Donald Trump very, very well. They've worked. She runs a REIT, a real estate investment trust in New York, so she knows the Donald. And I have inside knowledge, man. There was never a bigger Trump supporter than me, guys. And it's once you lose me, it's over with. But let's get back to this. If we have time at the end, I'll shoot the shit with politics. We got to get to trading. Asia. Japan and China are the #1 and #2 holders. Actually, it's like 1 and 1A. I think Japan actually overtook China as the holder of our debt, the #1 foreign holder. Folks, you got to be long-term bullish on your banker. China, with a quadrillion Chinamen, as long as we don't have a nuclear war in Korea, is going to be the world's #1 economy in a couple years. And then you're ready for the R into fear. This is going to shock a lot of you, even if you just met me. And here we are 31 minutes into it going, wow, this is pretty good. Let's get to some trades. This is going to shock you, this one. Russia. We all know that the whole Russia-Putin thing is bullshit, and it's the liberals and the media trying to explain why Hillary lost. I do agree with them on that. I wear 2 suits at Top Gun Options, okay? Not right now. I'm going to go work out after this. Figuratively, I wear a flight suit as an American. As a former naval officer, a naval aviator, I'm very damn patriotic. But I also wear a $6,000 Armani suit. That's a joke. I would never, if I ever paid $6,000 for a suit, I'd kick my own ass. But meaning Gordon Gekko. As a portfolio manager, I don't care. If I'm going to make money off the RSX, which is the Russia ETF, I'm going to do it. It doesn't mean I like it. So I'll put my Gordon Gekko suit on and go, I'm going to be bullish on Russia. You have to be bullish on a guy that does whatever the hell he wants. I'm going to, just like Adolf Hitler said, there's ethnic Germans in the Sudetenland that I'm worried about. I'm going to go take that over. He did it with Crimea. There's ethnic Russians down there I'm worried about. He took over, he invaded a sovereign country. What did Obama do? And Merkel? Stop, or we'll say stop again. He laughed. Then he took over eastern Ukraine. What did we do? Nothing. Syria. Folks, you have to be bullish on this guy. I think it's awful. I think it's disgusting. He was a KGB colonel, and when I was in flight school in the early 90s before the wall fell down, he and I, if we met in a dark alley, probably I would have killed him, right? If we ever gone to war. But right now, I'm long the guy. So again, this would be a hold your nose trade, okay? And that's about it, guys. So I wanted to do a really, really quick intro. We're on time, on target, 33 minutes. I like to execute here, guys. I introduced you who I am, gave you a little bit of background on me. I gave you our methodology, SOT, and now we're going to talk through our trade plan, and we're going to get live and get airborne here. Let me give you a quick strategic brief, guys, okay? North Korea. I'm telling you, folks, this is bad. North Korea has turned on China and said, North Korea is threatening their uncle now. This was their only friend in the world, and yesterday China gave them one more ultimatum. China has put over 150,000 troops on the border. They have mobile hospitals set up. I mean, if President Xi, he's either bluffing, and he's doing a good bluff by putting troops there, hospitals, getting ready, or he's no kidding contingency planning, because when he was in Palm Beach last month up the road, he believed Trump. Trump said, hey, if you don't take care of it, we will. So this is not priced into the market, folks. With the VIX below 10 the other day, this is not priced into the market. Volatility we haven't been this low since 2007. Okay? Jim, I know the history of all that area, but still, man, he invaded a sovereign country, Ukraine wanted to be in NATO. We said no. How the hell can we turn our back on what was a former Soviet Union republic and thus not? You know what Obama did? He sent them blankets and MREs, meals ready to eat. They're like, can you send us? We need weapons, man. We did nothing. John McCain, that dude's also a village idiot in my book now. He said Ukraine, not helping Ukraine was one of our most embarrassing moments in our nation's history, and I couldn't agree more with McCain on that point. All right, we got to move on. Volatility, folks, is not pricing any of this in. So about 10 of you have asked, Wiz, how do you think the North Korea thing ends? I know how it's going to end. You ready? I have a lot of buddies on the teams, folks. I spoke up in Minneapolis this past weekend, and the guy that gave the keynote after me was Clint Bruce. Not only was this guy a Navy SEAL, he played for the Ravens and the Saints. Not too many Navy SEALs not too many guys left the NFL to be a Navy SEAL. Since it is out here publicly, I can tell you what I know about what's going to happen. They asked for volunteers essentially for a kamikaze mission, because it will be. No shortage of volunteers, guys. And I'm sure Army Special Forces will be involved as well. It's going to be we're going to airdrop or insert or whatever we do. We're looking for this guy, kind of like we did to Saddam before OIF. Okay, we said, dude, we gave him only in America in warfare do we give people a heads up. Like, Saddam, you got 72 hours to leave. He didn't leave. All right, now you got 48. Okay, you didn't leave. Now you got 24. And then at the end of that, we tried to surgically hit him a couple times as he, played Frogger across the street. This is what's going to happen. And I hope to God this is how it happens. Otherwise, we're going to have millions of people dead. And I'm not messing around, folks. If this doesn't happen, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But as an options trader and a former fighter pilot, you plan for the worst, and if it doesn't happen, you're relieved. If you're planning for the best and the worst happens, you're going to want to put a bullet in your head. But I think SEAL teams are going to try in and go and take a surgical strike. And if and when that happens, every North Korean general who has a cell phone, he's going to get a call or a text from the Central Intelligence Agency that says, you're either with us or against us, and if you're not with us, we're going to kill you. That's what's going to happen. But folks, this is not priced into the market right now. Benoit, this headline's for you right here. Barack Obama officially endorses Emmanuel Macron, whatever his name is. That's when you know Le Pen's going to win. So the other reason these weekly options trades are looking good, and I haven't closed them for a great profit of over $2,000, folks. Remember that number. $2,100 these trades are up so far this week, okay? $2,100. Remember that number. That's why the market isn't going to catch a bid going into the close tomorrow. Not too many Fridays where the market's going to catch a bid, folks, with everything that's going on in the world, and we'll talk about that. For those of you who thought that them passing the repeal of Obamacare today was going to result in a little bit of a market rally, it shows me that you need to be a member here at TGO. I said to sell the tax announcement last Wednesday, and it worked. I said to sell this thing, and it worked. It is, Benoit, it's tongue-in-cheek, man. It's tongue-in-cheek. I'm saying, just like he went over and said, don't leave the EU or it'll be bad for you, and the Brits did vote that. I'm saying his endorsement, it's a joke. Benoit, you know my humor. So commodities are rolling over. Oil starting to roll over. Folks, this chart right here, the S&P 500, we are starting to roll over. We will go back down to the 50-day moving average. You ready? And here's why. What is to the right side of this chart above, if I could write in this white space right here, what would you put to the top? What would pull this market higher? Good earnings, Wiz. Well, we're about out of earnings, period, right now, and they were a mixed bag. Financials were mixed. Tech was good, but some tech missed. And I predicted Apple and Facebook earnings, I said, would be a sell on the news. And what happened? It sold on the news. So you can't put earnings up here. Tax reform. They just announced it. They gave out a one-pager last week with details. What happened to the market? It went down. Okay, so you're not putting tax reform up here. What else could you put up here that's good news for the market? Really good macroeconomic data? No. GDP sucked. U.S. productivity plunges in Q1. Core factory orders tumbled to the most in 13 months. So ladies and gentlemen, from the guy who predicted all of this and traded all of this like you read about in Top Gun Options Rocks magazine, it's over. I'm not saying we're going to have a huge correction or anything like that. My strategic mindset was cautiously bullish through this hope and change rally. What do you mean hope and change? Because that's an Obama saying. This was a hope and change rally. This rally was on the market hoping that Trump could do everything he said. Now the change, the go up, needs to see results. This healthcare thing ain't even beginning, folks. It's got to go to the Senate, then reconciliation, and then maybe Trump signs it. What if Trump doesn't like what the Senate did? Food fight. Tax reform. Steve Mnuchin said it ain't going to get done in 2017, folks. This market is the MacGyver market. It's up here on a string, a paperclip, and a straw. So my strategic mindset went from cautiously bullish through here. I went to neutral, and what did the market do? Neutral, and now I'm bearish. Okay? And we'll talk about volatility, folks. The VIX is at ludicrously low levels. Write this down on the page that you're taking notes with. You ready? When vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Look at the resting heart rate of the VIX, folks. What's the resting heart rate of the VIX been for the past 3 months? I will show you. The resting heart rate, if I can get a damn support resistance line, here you go, has been what? About 11. This VIX goes to 11. And the VIX reverts to its mean, folks. It's a heart rate monitor. So when something happens to freak the market out, holy crap, no healthcare reform. Once something's certain, he's going to get it eventually. Volatility comes in. Heart rate monitor. Something happens to freak the market out, then volatility comes back in. I think I have to go out to a 10-year chart. You ready for this? Where is it? Right here. June, there it is. Right here, folks, the end of May, beginning of June 2011. Let me ask you all a question. I want everybody to answer. Okay? Here we go. When the VIX doubled from 11 or 10-ish to 24, when it doubled in these couple weeks, was the market going up or was it going down? Tell me. Down, down. My members aren't allowed to answer. You know the answer. Members cannot answer. All right, so all my members got it right. So about 25% of the people in here got it. Jack, down. 75% of you are wrong. Everybody who said down is wrong. Now I'm going to give you an Obama teachable moment about volatility. That you need to be a TGO to know this stuff, folks. In the end of May through June, the market was going up. You know what happened right here? This was the Fed meeting when it was thought by everybody that Ben Bernanke was going to start the taper. Everybody remember that word? Remember, Ben Bernanke was pumping $85 billion a month into this market. This was the first Fed meeting where everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to start the taper. The market, you can't fight $85 billion a month being pushed liquidity into the market. The market went up 2 or 3%, whatever it was. Write this down. Market up, VIX up, something is up. And you know what the something was? It was the uncertainty around the Fed meeting. So if you're one of these people who's an options trader that believes the VIX only goes up when something bad happens, well, of course it does. I mean, that's volatile. But I just showed you. Look, everybody's like, holy crap, I learned something new. Good. I'm glad a lot of you just got something out of it. Hey, I learned one thing. No, I'm kidding. You're going to learn a stuff. Good. Cool, Jeff. Yep. Folks, remember that. Does everybody remember that? That was the Fed meeting where they're like, oh my God, is Bernanke going to come to the microphone and say, I'm throttling back my 80, I'm putting my wallet away. It's last call, and all the drunks were going to freak out. Market up, VIX up, something is up. Isn't that cool? So why am I doing that nice little parlor trick? Not just to show you how smart I am, but to show you that there was uncertainty going into that Fed meeting, and then as soon as he got to the microphone and said, we're not going to taper yet, write volatility on a balloon and blow it up. As soon as Bernanke came to the microphone, let go of the balloon, because it became certain that we weren't going to taper. So what I'm getting at here is with volatility below 11, the VIX below, when it hit 10, this is nuts. Even if you don't become a member here, folks, if you ever again in your trading career see the VIX below, if you see a 10 in front of that decimal point, get long volatility. I told you Fort Lauderdale Beach is right behind me. The time to buy hurricane insurance is not when on the Channel 5 news I see a tropical depression over the Bahamas. It's a little late. I might be able to buy it, but it's going to be up here. The time to buy vol or get hurricane insurance is on a beautiful blue sky, clear day like today. I'm telling you, and look at this, we're below our resting heart rate. Like I said, I'm going to go hit the gym upstairs after I get done this. Volatility spiking is like me on the treadmill on a 10 incline at 10 miles an hour. I can do it, but it'll probably be for a minute, and then I got to get back down to my resting heart rate. So getting long volatility right now is an absolutely brilliant trade. How far out? A couple weeks, man. With this guy in office, a day is long. Look at what happened Monday or Tuesday, whichever. It's already, what is it, Thursday? I can't remember the days because so much happens in these days. Trump came out of the blue and said, I'm going to break up the big banks. Market was like, holy, what did you just say? He lost me on that one too. He lost me on, I'd be honored to meet with Kim. The guy makes his people eat grass. Grass is a delicacy in North Korea, folks. He murders his own people. He puts generals who look at him weird downrange, and he fires anti-aircraft artillery at them and disintegrates their bodies. The man is hell on earth. He's Satan on earth incarnate, which is what Trump has led us to believe. And now you're going to validate that guy by saying, smart cookie. I'd be honored to meet with him. Do me a favor, Mr. President. Shut up. Just stop talking, stop tweeting, and go sit in the Oval Office. Let Mike Pence talk. He's the grown-up. It's ridiculous that he said that. I went apeshit when Barack Obama said he'd meet with President Rouhani. You do not validate a human being like this. Hide his phone. Put it in the damn freezer, okay? But we got my point in ranting about that. Sorry about that. It's really because I supported the guy, man. I support all of his policies. I don't support the dude anymore. The reason I bring this up is that when Barack Obama, does everybody remember this? We bailed out GM, didn't we? Okay? We bailed out GM. The taxpayers did. And what did Barack Obama do to help his union buddies out? He fired the CEO of GM. Does everybody remember that? I almost jumped out the window. Apparently, I have a really old copy of the Constitution. Where the hell does it say in the U.S. Constitution that, first of all, taxpayers bail out a company, and the president can fire a CEO? And nowhere in my Constitution does it say Trump can break up the big banks. My copy of the Constitution says we, the people, with the House and the Senate, might be able to pass a law and you sign it. So it's bad. So when he said that the other day, I'll break up the big banks, I looked at the market immediately. I'm like, oh boy, I sold that other bear call spread. This is like shooting fish in a barrel, folks. I'm having a lot of fun, but this is it's bad. David, I do not believe that at all. I will answer David's question or his point. Could it be a tactic to throw him off balance? It does seem like an SNL skit, though. David, I saw Laura Ingraham on Fox the other night twisting and contorting, trying to say that somehow this was some sort of brilliant tactic and reverse strategy. It isn't. The guy shoots from the hip. He's got no filter. And he should have cleaned it up the next day. If I had made that mistake, here's what I would have said the next day. Here's what I meant when I said I'd meet with the guy. I'd land, I'd walk off the plane and go up to the guy. I'd tell him to meet me at the jet bridge, and I'd say, I'm here for your nukes. And if he said no, I'd say, I'm getting back on board Navy One. It's not Air Force One, it's Navy One now. And I'm going to get airborne, and then I'm going to kill you. That's what he needed to say to fix this, and he didn't, because Trump's never wrong. He doubled down on, yeah, I'd be, it isn't some negotiating strategy, folks. He's an idiot. Okay, here we go. A lot of you are asking, well, are we putting a trade on the VIX or VXX? Folks, do not trade the VIX. It's an 8-hour lecture on what the VIX is. You're trading the futures on the VIX, folks. S&P puts and calls 30 days out. People trade the VIX and they don't even know what the hell they're doing. So I use as a good proxy VXX, okay? And we have a bullish double vertical on VXX. Now, remember, I said short term. I'd be looking at a bullish double vertical on VXX out only a couple weeks. I just explained to you why a couple weeks, because with this dude in office, with another lunatic in North Korea, with a French election, with so much going on that could go bump in the night, anything outside of a month is nuts. I just go out a couple weeks and trade VXX, okay? Now, let's do, I want to do Top Gun Options is a benevolent dictatorship, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, obviously. I'm going to put this to a vote. I only wanted to go for an hour, and I got 11 minutes. I'll go a little longer, but I'm only going to have time for one trade. I'm going to let you guys vote. It's either going to be a trade on the S&P 500, SPX, or a trade on VXX. Ready? Vote. You guys let me know, VXX or SPX. And let me take a look before you guys all start answering real quick. Well, that was stupid. I literally think out of the 300-400 people that are in here, it's literally broken in half. SPX jobs report, long VXX. Well, Jim, that's the answer. I'd be long VXX and short SPX. You know what? hold on a second, guys. Actually, you know what? If you become a member today, hold on one second. Let me make sure this VXX trade is up here. I might just show you the VXX trade and do SPX. Look how nice I am. What did I do that in? AR this week? I did a VXX trade in one of my live trade briefs this week, folks. So maybe I just show it to you. And I'll do SPX. There it is, right there. Sweet. So this is my accelerated retirement brief from Wednesday. And there is here's the VXX trade. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the SPX trade live, and then I'll cover, I'll show you the VXX trade. So let me do that. You're going to get both. David, no, I'm going to show, you remember, you have this trade. I'm going to give it to these guys for free. But so let me do SPX first, and then I'll show you the VXX trade done. It's sitting right here in the member section. And when you join, you can see it. Let me do SPXO first, though. Guys, if you downloaded the trade plan, pull it up on another screen or something like that, or just have it handy. Step one is what? Strategic mindset. You ready? My strategic mindset I already gave you is, hold on a second here, is bearish. Stock charts. And I'm not going to waste any more time as to why I just, remember folks, when I give you my strategic and operational brief, that gives you my mindset. Step one is done, bearish. I'm bearish right now. Step two is to identify the target. What are we going to trade? The stock, the ETF, the index. Ladies and gentlemen, I trade SPX. I do not trade SPY. Now, here's your disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not your tax accountant, and I don't play one on TV. Let's just say, and you can Google it or talk to your broker, that there's different tax treatment between trading SPX and SPY. And I'll leave it at that. So Uncle Wiz just helped you out with making a little extra scratch potentially. Step three is commit criteria. Commit criteria, this part of my trade plan is where I say, okay, why am I committing capital to this trade? Why am I in it? I can't tell you how many times I bump into retail traders on the road, and they'll say, oh, Wiz, I'm in this Apple trade. And I'll look at them and go, why? Give me your elevator pitch. Give me 3 to 5 sentences as to why you're in this trade. Go. And they look at me like I'm speaking Greek. Well, I have an iPhone. That's not good enough. Why else? You need to have 3 to 5 laser-like sentences where you get done talking, I go, holy crap, why am I not in that trade? I challenge you after this webinar or tomorrow or whenever, look at all of the positions in your portfolio and ask yourself, dude, what's my commit criteria for this trade? If you don't have 3 to 5, if you can't rattle off 3 to 5 sentences immediately, why are you in it, man? And you ready for this? Here's the discipline. You saw on my slides in the top left, it says what? Discipline, risk management, superior execution. The discipline part comes in if your strategic mindset, bearish, and commit criteria, which I'll give you in a couple seconds, if they change, why are you still in the trade? How many of you, when a trade goes against you, goes, Apple's going to come back. Apple doesn't hate me. Folks, Apple doesn't care who you are. They'd steamroll over your whole house. They don't care. So you have to be very antiseptic about this, and this is why my fighter pilot methodologies I'm going to teach you work. I take the emotion out of it, man. If the jet's on fire, 2 engine fire lights on in the cockpit, there's smoke in the cockpit, and your wingman is screaming, whiz, you're on fire. You don't sit there and go, You put your scarf out the canopy and go, I'm going to save this airplane. The ocean is littered with dead Navy and Marine aviators who became emotional. So, commit criteria. I am looking to get bearish on the S&P 500 short term because the tax announcement was a no-brainer, sell on the news. The healthcare reform was a sell on the news. Earnings are over, and there is no catalyst in the short term to drive this market higher. Period, dot, thank you, good night, try the veal. Step 4 is the tactic. This one's simple. Look at this level here, 2,400. That 2,400 level has been a magnet. We're trying to get up to 2,400. We're not going to do it. It's mental now, folks. There is nothing to the top right of this chart for me to be bullish on. So the tactic that I'm going to employ is a bear call spread. It's also called a credit spread. Ladies and gentlemen, I love to be a seller. Okay, I love being the house. The Bellagio and the MGM Grand do not look like they look because they're a charity and they give away money, or the Ferrari dealership in Fort Lauderdale. You want to be the house, okay? So the tactic that I'm going to employ is the bear call spread. I use Options House, folks. You can trade with whoever you want I like Options House because I helped pick the name. Options House was built when I was there at Peak 6, and I was very instrumental in building this. So let's take a look at SPX, and I'm going to go out a couple weeks, okay? I'm going to go out to the regular May expiration right there, all right? And look, SPX is expirations all over the folks. I think they have Wednesdays and Mondays and quarterlies. I'm just going to stick with the regular expiration. Okay. Richard, good question. The non-farm payroll report will do nothing to the market. If anything, it can only hurt it. Does everybody remember what happened last time? What was the ADP number on Wednesday, folks? The forecast was 178 on Wednesday. And look, we actually had a revision down from ADP on Wednesday from the previous month. So we hit 177. Does anybody remember what happened with the last non-farm payroll? It was 98,000. I think the consensus was right around 175. It was 98 grand, folks. What did the market do? It kind of shrugged. The non-farm payroll reports to me really aren't that important anymore. And I have a lot of reasons why, and when you become a member, we'll sit in our live trade briefs and we'll talk more about that, okay? So I need to move and get the trade on because I'm being a little verbose, but very good question, but it's not going to do anything. All right, let me go through this, and then I want to place this trade. This is a trade I'm sending out to my members, so when you join today, you're going to be getting it right around there. Maybe this one. Nah, this one. All right, here we go. Bear call spread. Let me just do it real quick, and then I'll slow down and tell you the tactic. So this is step 4, folks, the tactic. It's a bear call spread I just taught you 30 minutes ago is not a strategy, folks. I am showing you a tactic right now. I'm going to sell 15. Okay, Wiz, where'd you come up with 15? That's me. That's going to be based on my max risk of the trade, so stay with me. Of the May 17th. Why are you going out to May 17th, folks? I'm keeping the leash a little tight because if the market's going to roll over, and I think it will down to the 50-day move, I think we're going to do this, copy right here and put it right here. That's what we're going to do, okay? So I don't want to go too far out because Wiz can be completely wrong, and Jesus, Muhammad, Ganesh, and Buddha come back to life, and the market has a rip your face off rally. That could happen. Well, I'm being facetious, obviously. So I'm keeping it around May 7th, the regular May expiration, and the 2410. All right, Wiz, I thought you said 2400 is kind of that magnet. It is, but I want to give me at least 10 points, $10 to the upside in case we do get a little bit of a rally, okay? What if you're wrong, man? And I always reserve the right to be wrong. Well, if we do have a rip your face off rally, I'm going to buy 15 of the May 17, 24.15. So if we do have a rip your face off rally, this blue line, which is SPX, just takes off. Huge, huge rally. We're hedged. Our losses are limited above 24.15. What I'm going to do right now is take a screenshot. Why? Because I'm conducting this like I literally am doing a live trade brief with my members. And it's funny because a lot of my members are in here, and I'm going to send this replay out to them. SPX, what's today's date? 5/4. Okay. And here's what puts a smile on my face, $1.35. That is a credit, folks. This bear call spread is called a credit spread. So I'm going to click on this button right here, and I want you guys to all visualize something. It's not going to be pretty, but visualize this with me. You ready? When I click this Analyze button, I'm going to turn into a Roman Catholic nun. Now, I know a lot of you just threw up in your mouth a little bit, but here's what I'm getting at. If you don't look where I tell you to look, crack yourself on the knuckles. Pretend I'm a Catholic nun. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at the sad face. Not mine, this one. You got it, man. Max potential loss. Ladies and gentlemen, and John and Pete Najarian, the big football players, I was good buddies with them up in Chicago. I always told them, I'm like, guys, switch that around. Put the max. No, Wiz, it's retail. You know, we have to be. No. Don't tell them I said that. They kick my ass. Whether you're a fighter pilot or an options trader, you always look at what is the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing I could do is lose $5,500 if everything goes to hell in a handbasket and we have a rip your face off rally. All right, Wiz, you said you don't want to risk more than 5% or $5,000 of the model portfolio on any one trade. I'm the skipper, and I think $475 north of that is okay. I'm fine with that. If you are not okay with this, hey man, what you do on your side of the computer is your own business and your bunny slippers. If you're like, holy crap, I only want to risk more than $2,500 on this trade, do 7 contracts. Einstein, I'm doing 15. Wiz, I'm a multi-billionaire. I'm doing 50 contracts. Great, knock yourself out. I'm not giving investment advice. You have to talk to your registered investment advisor or broker-dealer about that stuff. You're getting the eavesdrop on what I'm doing. So once I give myself a vertical head nod, like, you know what, I'm okay with that risk, now we can look at the happy face. The max potential profit in this trade is $2,000. And using current at-the-money volatility when the market closed, there's a 66% probability of making a max profit. That's a nice looking trade. Now look at Mr. I'm all right. The break even. The break even on this trade is a 67% probability all the way up there at 24.11. But folks, I'm being honest with you. I just gave you a strategic and operational brief. Somebody as I'm going to send out a text alert to my members here. This is what you get. You get an email after the brief, you get the replay, and you also get a text alert. Watch this. But as I'm sending my members a text alert here, and this is at the open tomorrow, folks. So this is the price range. I'm going to watch what I do here. Harry, I know we already have this trade. This isn't a member brief, Harry. This is a brief for potential new members at TGO. I know you have this trade. It's so funny, folks. A lot of my members show up for all these. So, guys, this isn't for. I love when my members come to these. Oops, that's not what I was supposed to do. So, Harry, I know we have this trade. That's why I think it's a good one. All right, so I'm going to go to urgent alerts. That's the portfolio I'm going to add this to. I'm going to put urgent alert, new SPX bear call spread. So folks, when you become a member today, and I know people are saying, all right, how do we join? Just hang on. You have to send us your cell phone number to support. 15 contracts, May 17 expiry. I'm going to sell the 2410 calls, and I'm going to buy as a hedge the 2415 calls at $1.35 credit. And you ready for this? Plus or minus 15 cents. Now, everybody listen to me. What does that mean? This is the range I'm going to look to get filled in. I'll go all the way down to $1.20 tomorrow or all the way up to $1.50. I give my members a window that I'm going to try and get filled in. Sometimes I get filled, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get filled, sometimes I don't, but at least I give you the range. Now listen to me on this. I put out 2 levels in my trades. I'd look to, remember folks, this is a credit spread. And right now, this isn't training, but we do training when you become a member. I'll teach you about adjust and eject levels. I want this full $1.35, folks. That's a car. I'm the Ferrari dealer down the street in Fort Lauderdale. You just peeled out with your midlife crisis for $1.35. I want all of it, okay? If you peel back in the parking lot and you know, Car and Driver just came out with that Ferrari is the #1 in the world, the thing just went up in value. Hey, Wiz, you want to buy it back? Ah, crap, no. I want it to go to zero, no offense. I want it to depreciate. Everybody has heard of the Greek in options trading called theta, right? Time decay. As soon as you pull out in your midlife crisis, if you turned around and came back in the lot and said, hey, can you buy this back? My wife called and said, turn it in. Your midlife crisis is over. I'd say, sure. What'd you pay, 250, 250 grand? I'll buy back for 200. You jerk. Yeah, it's called theta. It's called time decay. So if this trade starts going up in value, here's what I do. What's $1.35 times 2 equals 270. I have 2 levels in a trade. I have the adjust and the eject level. If this trade goes all the way up to $2.70, I bail out. I'm out of the trade. I'm on fire. That's the emotion. But I have a level just inside that. Let's call it about $2.40, where I kind of scratch my chin and go, why is this trade moving against me? I'm starting to smell a little bit of smoke. My wingman's yelling at me like, hey, Wiz, there's some smoke coming out of your engine. That's when I get a little nervous and say, hey, should I adjust this trade? Now, if I wake up one day during the life of this trade and my wingman, I'm on fire, that's the eject level, okay? I can't sit here and go for too much longer and train you on this. That's why you're going to be a member, okay? But right now, nearly 1,000 of my urgent alert traders are getting this via text. And then after I render my recording that I'm doing, I'm going to send them the screenshots that you saw me take, and then also this recording, okay? So let me do this. Urgent alert, new, oops, new, SPX. This bear call spread, bear call spread. This is an email that's going out to some of my people that there's like 15 of our members that some Canadian telecom company thinks that because the texts come from a 5-digit number, they think it's spam. It's ridiculous. They just started that, so that's what that email was. Okay, so let me, guys, ton of great questions, and I'm going to defer on most of them because you're going to have to join. I'll answer some of them, but again, I didn't want to go for more than an hour, and here we are at 1 hour and 36 minutes. So that is the SPX bear call spread, but let me go back because I promised you to show you a VXX bullish double vertical, getting long volatility. Here it is right here. I'll put it up on the screen. If you want to take a screenshot, go ahead and do it. This is called a bullish double vertical. Look at the picture. A bullish double vertical is simply two spreads on top of each other with the same strategic mindset. I'm bearish on the market, but bullish on volatility. So what is this trade, Wiz? It's a bull put spread, and it's a bull call spread. Wow. I didn't think yeah, it's awesome. Think of it this way, folks. If you think volatility is going to go up, Wiz, you had me at hello. You had me at, holy crap, the VIX volatility is way too low. I think it's going to go up. Something's going to happen to freak the market out. It has to. Remember, folks, if you go talk to a shrink, not that I ever have, they tell you you have to have some stress in your life. Otherwise, you'd be a jellyfish. There is nobody without, the market has to have stress. So think of it this way. Wiz, I do think volatility is going to go up. What tactic could you employ if you think something's going to go up? Well, Wiz, I could buy a bull call spread. You could, and then I'd laugh at you. Why? Because if you think something's going up, you also think it's not going to do what? Go down. And if you don't think something's going to go down, what tactic could you do? Wait a minute, a bull put spread. Take the credit from the bull put spread you sell and buy the bull call spread, man. I can't spend too much. If there's 600 light bulbs going on right now, I guarantee you, like, holy crap, I never knew that tactic existed. That's why you're here. Here's the metrics on this trade, and I'll leave this up on the screen. Hold on, Wiz. You're telling me for risking $5,600, I could make 12 grand if volatility spikes, if a bottle rocket gets fired, if the SEAL team takes out Kim, if Iran or if something or Le Pen. Yeah. Look at that. And look at the probability of at least breaking even, because the probabilities of max profit or max loss are kind of low because they're showing you the best and worst case scenario. But look at the break even. There's a way better than a coin flip that this being long volatility is going to work. And I told you, folks, if the market's going to freak out, the VIX is going to pop. You'll be trying to jump on the back of an F-18 and grab it. It's going to be gone. The VIX will be gone when, not if, something freaks the market out. Okay? Jim, good question. But guys, let me answer those in a little bit, because like I said, I went over. Hopefully you took a screenshot. Here's what you're going to do, though, is you're going to become a member. Here's the easiest thing to do with all of these phenomenal questions and trade and management and everything like that. And somebody asked about performance. Here's this portfolio. Let me go performance year to date. And this is the urgent alert and the weekly options model portfolio. Look at that portfolio, folks. And I'm only using about 54% of my allocated cap. You're never 100% vested, folks. That is where I want to be, half. Half is in a Folgers can in the yard and half is in the market. Look at the performance. That's about a 35% before the close. This is about a 35% year-to-date return. Wow. Ken, if you're bearish on the market, why a bullish VXX? Ken, I just explained that, man. If the market's going to roll over, volatility is going to increase. And I took the time to show you the one time it really didn't. Remember the Fed meeting? If the market is going to roll over here, folks, it's going to head down to that 50-day moving average, and we're going to see some trouble in paradise here. But guys, here's what I'm going to do right now, because I want to render this recording and I got to get it out to my members. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to become a member right now. So let me throw in the chat box here the link I need you to go to grab you can grab a monthly slot or you can grab an annual. If you want to do a quarterly, you have to give us a call. But you ready? Let me introduce to you our full throttle program here at TGO. Here's the defensive track. There's 3 ways you can trade this market, folks. You can be a little defensive, and this track includes our accelerated retirement service. I showed you it was a 101% return last year, plus all the other live trade briefs we do here at Top Gun Options. Or you could dogfight the hell out of this market and do the offensive track, which includes everything we do, but instead of the accelerated retirement service over here, you get the weekly option service. So it makes sense, right? I'm offensive, I'm dogfighting this market. You get everything plus weekly options. If you're a little, I'm going to keep some powder dry whiz, or weekly options aren't for me just yet, I'd want to learn about them a little bit more, you can do the defensive track and you get accelerated retirement. But here's what 85% of our members, when they join, they do. The max afterburner slot, because you get both weekly options and accelerated retirement, okay? So everything is on this page, folks. Here are the monthly membership. It's $195 for defensive. It's $245 for offensive, and the max is $295. However, and I asked you guys to remember a certain number at the beginning or halfway through the webinar. What number did I tell you to remember? That's exactly right, $2,100. I said remember this number. Our 2 weekly options trades are up $2,100 this so far, and they're probably going to close for about $2,500 tomorrow. I just showed you, and men lie, numbers don't. I just showed you on the screen that I paid for an annual defensive slot. And tomorrow by the close, unless I don't even know what phenomenal thing could happen tomorrow to make the market rally with Le Pen election Sunday and a lot of other things going on. I think we fade this healthcare thing too. I just paid for, with 2 trades this week, an annual offensive track. And guys, these are the trades from last week. So here's last week, right? Let me just refresh your memory. Here was last week's trades. 49. Let me borrow $25. $4,900, folks. The 3 trades. This is just in weekly options, folks. I haven't even showed you my longer-term trades. Let me show you one of my longer-term trades in this portfolio. You ready? Anybody like JP Morgan? Yeah, I do, to the tune of $25,000. This is a Jan 18 trade, folks. I put this on about 9 months ago. That's what? I'm averaging $2,500 a month in JP Morgan profits. This is a Jan 18 trade, folks. Here's my Jan 19 JP Morgan trade I put on a couple months ago. It's already up $3,200. So I'm just talking about the weekly. Folks, I don't even have time to go through all my longer term trades. Here's what's my Disney trade doing? Disney's up $4,500. This is a Jan 18 trade. So all you have to do right now is pick Wiz, I like accelerated retirement. Wiz, I like weekly options. Or Wiz, I want both of those, along with every other live trade brief we do, folks. So on this page, on the offensive track side and defensive, you can read what you get, okay? I'm not going to sit here and read all this stuff. That's not my job, okay? Pick what you want. But here's the better deal that you're going to get here, folks. You're going to get 8 training sessions with our volatility arbitrage trader. His name is Doug Robertson. He's an egghead. He's the hell of a guy. Here's the schedule, folks. Understanding the Greeks, vertical spreads, iron condors, implied vol trades, special opportunities. It's all on this page, folks. So again, I didn't want to go. We went an hour and 15 minutes. My apologies, but there was a lot of good questions and stuff. In the final couple moments, I'll try and answer all the questions you had. But here's the deal: sign up become a member, folks. We've been around for 7 years. We still have a ton of people that have been here for 7 years. Not that they didn't learn options. They're here for the camaraderie and the trade ideas. So now it's time for you to pick your track. And for the last time, I told you to remember $2,100. As of the close, sitting behind me on the TV, I paid for a defensive annual track. And it's cheaper, folks. It's obviously cheaper to do an annual membership than a month-to-month. So, and then if tomorrow the market stays where it is, or it can even go up a little bit, as long as we close below 2,400 tomorrow, folks, my weekly options members make $2,500. I just paid for an annual offensive membership. And then with the trade I just showed you, potential $2,000, that's another annual membership. So again, I can drag you to water. Now it's the time for you guys to get airborne. Okay? Yeah, I love Harry. JP Morgan's been printing money for us. Okay? So yes, and the membership, and whoever just asked that question, a lot of good stuff coming in. If you do a monthly, of course you can always just give us a call and upgrade into an annual. And there's my text alert, guys. I just want to make sure the plumbing's working. That's what the text alert looks like. So 80 during our last member survey, 80% of you work for a living. Okay, I could run Top Gun options from here. There's my kids. I have my Options House platform on here, and I can send and receive trades on here. So you don't have to attend the live trade briefs, folks. Everything is recorded. This is recorded, and I'll send out this replay to my members. So everything's recorded. Some people watch the replay during lunch. They watch it, at night when the kids go to bed. So even if you're not in one of the live trade briefs, I stop when I identify the trade, and that you get it when everybody else is getting it. Okay, and then after the live trade brief is over, I already showed you what the member page looks like. I put up screenshots of the trade and the video. Okay, so let me just pull up a sample page here. Let me go. I did accelerated retirement yesterday at 1 o'clock, and this is what the page looks like. I take a screenshot of all the everything we did during that brief, all the adjustments. See up here to the existing positions, and here's the bear call spread and the VXX double vertical. And at the bottom, look, here's the replay, AR live trade brief replay, all on one page, man. It's phenomenal. I'm very passionate about what I do, guys. It's a no-brainer to join right now. JD, Wiz, I love your info, but I wish you could be more transparent with the winnings. People can only make 2,000 if they put on the size you're using. Most of JD, I am transparent. JD, I told you I have an SOP. Look at my SOP, JD. What did I say? I said I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. So that's me. So this trade makes $1,800 based on $5,700 in risk. So JD, if you're trading a smaller account, trade a different contract size. So I'm not sure what you're saying. Be transparent. I don't see how it can be more transparent than that. JD, I have people. We had one. Now we officially have two. We have two billionaires at Top Gun Options, and they shall remain nameless, and they always will. They're trading hundreds of contracts. JD, I'm me. I'm trading me. Wiz is trading 15 in this. So if I trade 15 and I make $1,800, I made $1,800. Okay? So that's as transparent as you can be, my brother. Okay? JD, because that, first of all, that's all public math, and you guys can do that, okay? Like I said, JD, here at Top Gun Options, you're getting to eavesdrop over it's like you're standing, JD, on the floor of the SIBO, standing behind me, getting the eavesdrop into how I'm trading and what I'm doing. What you do on your side of the computer, how many contracts you want to trade or do, it's none of my business. So if you're trading, like I said with the Goldman Sachs trades, I did 5 because I didn't want to risk more than $5,000. Whoever else was in here traded 20, and they printed money. So exactly, PJ, you can always trade one contract, and some people do. So I'm not going to get into a per contract how much the profit was. That's not my math job. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, you quoting a $1 per win contract would be better. I don't do that. I've never done that, and it just doesn't make sense for me. Most people can look at it and go, okay, he risked $5,700, he made $1,800. I'm trading 30 contracts and I'm risking $11,000, and I could make $3,600. Okay. Yeah, I'll put the link back up here, guys. And here's and operators are standing by. Our customer service is here to pick up the phone. You can call 754-300-1084. But since I do hear the phone ringing, the easiest thing to do if you have any questions, you can either ask them now or you can shoot an email to support@topgunoptions.com. Okay, support@topgunoptions.com, and they can answer your question. Welcome aboard to Daniel with a full throttle defensive track. And Daniel's from Washington. Beautiful up there. And there's a bunch of other memberships going right now. So folks, my phone's buzzing, and that means people are grabbing slots, which is great, okay? And I showed you last week, we had nearly $5,000 with 3 trades. And guys, again, that's just in the weekly options portfolio. I just showed you our urgent alert portfolio, man. And how many of you, let me get there's $4,500 in a Disney trade. How many of you wouldn't have mind making in 9 months? Anybody, raise your hand if you would like to make 25 grand in 9 months. You bet, JD. Hey, man, I'll always, and I appreciate you, right back at you, my friend. I appreciate you. I love the red team. I love all that stuff. And, if I'm putting on a trade or doing something that I am nameless and rankless, man. After every flight in the Hornet, we got together behind closed doors. We took the name tag off our shoulder, the rank off our shoulder or off our chest, and the admiral wasn't an admiral. He was just another aviator on that flight, man. So we're very open and honest, and yeah, I appreciate that. Exactly. Okay, good. Welcome aboard, John. And but yeah, exactly. A lot of you are saying me. I will show you how to put trades on out to January of 2019, and how we can be. You ready for this? We can be bipolar, and so can I. I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but here's what I mean. We could be long-term bullish, for example, on Disney. Very, very long-term bullish. 2 years from now, they're going to buy Apple, blah, blah, blah. But we could be short-term neutral or short-term bearish. That tactic is called a long call diagonal with a protective put. Okay? Very, very cool tactic, and I will teach that to you. So here's what you need to do. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT, that stands for full throttle, -now. Okay? It's in the chat box, or you can shoot us an email, support@topgunoptions.com, or call that number that's on the screen. Okay? And remember, if you need, we do have quarterly payments. If you want to split the difference, it's too confusing to have 3 things on this page. So you can call if you're interested in a quarterly membership to save some money off a monthly. Carlisle, learning lots and making money. Very happy with TGO membership last week. 4 grand last week in weekly options. You know what sucks about GoToWebinar is you can't show people's chats. So I think if I take a screenshot, you can see it. So Carlisle, you just wrote that, and I want to show that. It's not like, because I have been to events where I feel like the guy's like reading, he's making shit up. So there's Carlisle, welcome aboard, and I'm glad you made 4 grand last week. So I just paid for Carlisle. What's your membership, Carlisle? And thank you, Fish. Let me take a screenshot of Fish. Fish has been here for how many years? 5-year veteran. Fish is honest, integrity, always with Wiz and TGO. Fun member for life. Thanks, Fish. I appreciate that. Last year annual. Awesome, Carlisle. Good. John, John, thank you, and welcome back. I remember, John. Thank God you came back from the cancer, man. So here's another screenshot, guys. Last one, and then I got to go. I got to render this recording. I'm going to go out to a nice dinner tonight because I had a blast. This isn't work for me, folks. I'm very passionate about what I do. Hopefully that came across. This isn't a job. This isn't work. I do this anyway. And when I left Wall Street as a military guy, you put the ladder down. I hated Wall Street, man. It was scuzzy. I felt like I had to shower 8 times a day because it was filthy. Because somebody asked the other day, like, if you're so smart, why are you telling all of us about it? That's the attitude that you would have if I was really a Wall Street guy. I am doing extremely well, trust me, in a lot of endeavors. I just opened my own speaking company with some part. I do a lot of cool stuff, folks. I do this because I love it. And I want to put the ladder down and help other people out. So I love when people kind of poke me like, if you're so smart, why aren't you manage? I did manage a $2.5 billion firm. Now it's time to give something back. Okay. Mark, roger that, man. Yeah, Harry said the same thing to John. John, I beat cancer. God bless, man. But all right, guys, I'll tell you what. Like I said, I can't. You know, I dragged you to water today. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. I can't make you drink. Drink it if you don't want. But there's the link to get your membership. Either give us a call or go to this page right now and grab your slot. Okay. A couple last questions. You're welcome. Absolutely. Do you do 400K Obama teachable moments on your speaking tours? Merle, if I was making, I would love to make 400 grand for an hour's worth of speaking. My rate is not that high. It's it's a little lower than that, but I appreciate that. If I could, what a definition of a hypocrite, man. And I don't begrudge the guy. I mean, great. You were president. You have the right to go make a living. But don't, for the past 8 years, slam Wall Street for being scuzzy and disgusting, and then go and give a 400 grand keynote to Cantor Fitzgerald. You're a hypocrite. You're double standard. He's awful, man. He's an awful. That guy nearly just. Thank God we're pulling out of this nosedive. The biggest thing I'll remember about the Obama presidency is now I'm confused about which bathroom I'm supposed to go in. But all right, guys, I got to run. I'm going to get this recording out. I'm going to get the screenshots of the trades out to my members, and hopefully you're going to be a member by heading to go.topgunoptions.com/ft-now. Okay? And real quick before you go, even if you don't join today, do me a favor and head to this link so you can get my daily video. If you just want to keep us on the back burner and think about it or whatever, it's go.topgunoptions.com/sitrep. And I do my daily video, and you can, instead of coming to the website and trying to, you know, did Wiz put his video out yet? It gets pushed to you. Just put in your name and email, and it's free. I do my daily, my daily video, and it'll be fun. You can see my daily video and for free. So that'll be the last thing I leave you with. Okay. All right, folks. Have a great rest of your evening. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Welcome. My phone's buzzing, which means people are getting their membership slots. Very honored that you guys attended and that you guys are signing up right now. We will change your life here at Top Gun Options. I guarantee you. You haven't met Doug Robertson yet. Doug is also our trader here, and he runs a couple other of the live services you're going to get access to. But if you're like me, you're going to love Doug. So welcome aboard to all of our new Full Throttle members. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. Welcome aboard Top Gun Options. We'll see you.